Hey guys, so this is a follow-up of the video that I did last week where I answered all of your questions about Mexico and Mexico City. This week I'm going to answer all of the questions that you asked me on Instagram about being a digital nomad and a blogger and a freelancer, so I hope this is helpful for you. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background for those that don't know or perhaps are new to the channel. I've been living in Mexico City now for almost 3 years. I moved here in 2016 to really go full-on 100% with my online business. I run a travel blog called Eternal Expat. I have this YouTube channel which I am hoping will grow and grow and grow. I have a guidebook that I've published on Amazon. I write freelance for a few publications in the US, and yeah, that's what I do. So I have a video about how I sort of got to where I am and how I make money as a digital nomad. I will link both of those videos below so you can get to know a little bit more about me and how I afford this lifestyle. But otherwise, I'm going to get straight to the questions because these videos can be a bit long. Also, it's real hot in Mexico City these past couple of days. It's like 82 degrees today, something like almost 30 degrees Celsius. And most apartments in Mexico City are not air conditioned. So I'm gonna power through. One of the questions that I got a lot was, how do I like working remotely? I think that's a nice question. I didn't actually initially love working remotely, just because I was trying to build up my blog so that I could take time away from it and not have to work 24/7, but that meant in the first year of living in Mexico and traveling around that I was working pretty much every single day. If Luke and I went on a vacation, I was still doing copywriting and freelancing work. I was blogging 5 days a week. I was constantly working. I was working like maybe 60 hours a week or something crazy. Well, that's crazy for me. So yeah, at first it was hard, but I also knew that I had an end goal, and I knew that the work for that year and a half was going to pay off, and it has. So I didn't love it, but now I love it. I mean, I work probably 20 hours a week. I love working for myself. I'm a massive introvert, so I don't mind not having colleagues. I don't mind being in an apartment by myself. A lot of people who go from working corporate or go from working jobs where they have colleagues to working for themselves and being by themselves, and they don't love it. And that's why a lot of people love co-working spaces, or they work in cafes where they can be around other people, or they want to meet other freelancers and other digital nomads so that they can work together and have that sort of water cooler banter that they miss so much. I don't miss that. I don't. I get a lot more done when I'm working from home. I don't really need a ton of social interaction during the day. That might sound weird, but I'm quite happy to work away for 3 or 4 hours a day and then go outside and enjoy the sunshine with a book, or spend the afternoon with my boyfriend when he's off, or we spend the mornings together. And of course I have friends and I see them on the weekends, and sometimes we work together during the week. But I don't crave that, and I don't miss that part of working in an office. I also love being able to take time away from my work. I love that I can take my work with me wherever I go. That's a huge perk of being a digital nomad, of course. You don't always have to live in one place, and that's been really beneficial, and no doubt will be in the future as we plan travels and our lives elsewhere. How would one get into copywriting? So for those that don't know, one of the first things I did when I moved to Mexico City was I did tons of copywriting work. Copywriting is basically any number of things where you are writing marketing content or blog content for other companies. Those companies don't necessarily make money from their websites or from their blogs or from their content, but they need someone short term or for just a 1 or 2 off job where you can create that content for them. So I did a lot of that in the first year that I moved to Mexico, and started to work on my blog on the side. And one of the best ways to get into copywriting is really to get involved with like a copywriting company. A couple that I know of are CopyPress and BlogMut, recently rebranded. I will link them both below so that you can see what it takes to become one of their contract writers. The other thing that you can do is you can just start pitching to people. I know a lot of bloggers who are still working on building up their websites, and they're working for other bloggers, creating content for them. There's travel bloggers and all types of other websites that are always looking for more content. So if you feel passionately or you have knowledge on a topic and you can write a valuable article, people will pay you for it. And the same goes for the next question, because it talks about how long did it take to make a living as a freelancer. So, I mean, freelancer it's a word that just could mean anything. You could be a freelance writer, you could be a freelance graphic designer, you could be a freelance developer. There are so many different ways to make money as a freelancer. That just means that you work for yourself as a contractor for other companies. So it basically was never my end goal. So that's a difficult question to answer, because I was never really working towards like making a living as a freelancer. For me, writing freelance and doing copywriting work were like the means to my end, which was my blog. My neighbors are shouting in the hallway. Freelance writing and copywriting were what I was doing to make money as I built up my blog. So I was making money freelancing and copywriting right away. I got really involved in pitching to small websites that paid maybe $25 or $30 for an article, and I would write articles every day, all day. Like I was probably earning between $2,000 and $3,000 US dollars a month just doing that sort of work. So yeah, I mean, it helped that I'd been pitching and writing on and off for the previous 5 years while doing other jobs. So I felt pretty confident in how to pitch for articles, and I knew that if I wanted to make any sort of money that I could like sock away when I gave that up to take over my blog, that I would need to write constantly. So there are a lot of options when it comes to freelancing. If you have a lot of experience or you have great ideas for pitching to bigger publications, by all means, like, do that, because the bigger the publications and the bigger the paycheck for each article you write, the fewer articles you have to write. So yeah, it really depends on what you want to be doing. If freelance writing isn't what you want to be doing at all, you should be pitching constantly for work to the companies for the jobs that you want. It really is like that simple, but simple is not easy. So it is just a matter of pitching and working and pitching and working and pitching and working, and the money follows. So yeah, it was pretty much straight away. How long did it take How long did it take before you started making money as a blogger? So Eternal Expat is like my third blog. I have been blogging on and off since 2010, when I first moved abroad to New Zealand, and I was just a way to kind of keep track of what I was up to and let family and friends around the world know what we were doing, and it was fun and I loved it, and I had no idea that you could make money as a blogger. Fast forward to when I lived in South Korea, and I decided I really wanted to start taking blogging more seriously, and I really wanted to take my writing more seriously. So I would say from 2014 onwards, I spent a lot of time studying and reading and learning about all the different ways that you can make money from blogging. And then in 2016, when I moved to Mexico City, I launched Eternal Expat, and I probably made small amounts of money within the first year, $100 here, $50 here, $200 here, but it wasn't really very much over the course of the first year. Certainly not enough to give up my copywriting and freelance writing jobs. And it wasn't until last year when I published my guidebook and I started writing really seriously about Mexico City and really focusing on SEO for Google, that my blog kind of blew up in my opinion. I mean, enough certainly for me to make almost enough on ad income alone, never mind all the other ways that I make money blogging. So about a year and a half into blogging, I started doing less and less copywriting work, and in October last year I took my last copywriting job. So it took just under 2 full years for me to kind of get rid of all of the jobs that I didn't want to do anymore. And if I wanted to, I could make a full-time living just with my blog, but I really enjoy the few freelance clients that I still have. They're great for my profile with Mexico City and with travel writing in general. So that's why I keep those. But yeah, so I would say just shy of 2 years to make a living, certainly maybe a year and a half to make a living well enough to live in Mexico City. And now I feel I can live pretty much anywhere I would like. This is an important question I think not enough people are talking about, but it's about getting visas. How easy is it to get a visa as a digital nomad? It's not that easy, and it depends what country. A lot of countries, especially in Europe and the US, and I'm pretty sure Canada is feeling this way as well, is that if you're coming in as a tourist, you can't work. You're not on a work visa, and working as a digital nomad is really starting to be frowned upon. I've heard stories of people having trouble getting into the UK, getting into the US, when they say that they're freelancers or that they work for themselves. Well, they don't want you coming into the country and having no real reason to leave, and that is the real issue. You have to make sure that you have a reason to leave that country, so just because you're going there for 3 months and then maybe moving on somewhere else for 3 months and 3 months and 3 months, that's not good enough for a lot of countries like the UK, the US, Canada, parts of Europe. So you have to be really careful. You have to make sure you're following all the rules. And in Mexico, it's quite easy to prove your income and get a temporary residency visa as a digital nomad. You just have to show bank details from the previous 12 months that you've been earning a steady amount. I believe it's over $1,200 a month, or that you have the equivalent of that savings in accounts elsewhere. Yeah, so for Mexico, not so difficult. And there are many countries like that where you can come in as long as you have the funds to support yourself. You can get whatever visa is the one that you need. But you should always do the research before you show up in a country and think that you can just walk in and work from your laptop. Because it's quickly changing around the world as more and more people are showing up at borders saying that they're digital nomads. So yeah, those were the questions that I got the most, that I felt like I could really answer the best for you guys. I hope that was helpful. My voice gets so croaky with these Q&A videos, but I really enjoy answering your questions and helping you guys as much as I can. So if you have any questions about anything that I've mentioned, or you have other questions about being a digital nomad, by all means ask them in the comments below, and I will be sure to answer them the best that I can. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will know that you guys want me to do more like this. Yeah, so thanks guys, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.